Episode 10. Hi, guys. Welcome back to the Felix Strange podcast. I'm your host. My name is Ben Letvinchuk. You can call me Felix Strange. I'm bi. I'm single. So I'm here to talk to you guys today real quick about a little work I did on my film. Also, I did another song, which is... now, I may change the title of this song, but it's very similar to the one called Trust Me. And it's got a lot of, similar, a lot of the things that are said, it kind of mirrors that song in a lot of ways. So it's kind of like a companion piece in a way. But anyhow, so that music aside, as I was saying, and this is the main topic for the video today, is the motion picture that I'm working on. And you guys know what it's called. For those of you who don't, who are new to my channel, it's called The Chiropractor. Now go check out the film. It's actually already available on my channel here. You can watch the version that honestly I did edit a version quite recently, just a few days ago, in fact. And the new version is I took out a few scenes. So we have some deleted scenes already. You know, there was a scene already that was meant to be deleted that doesn't really go with the picture. And that was the scene where he's like in front of a mirror, making sure that his look is like, for that night where he takes someone out in that night shoot. And he's got like this red light and he's in front of the mirror and stuff. And that's that was the original deleted scene. And so now, these other shots, this other scene or two that I did for the film, there is very brief shots and brief scenes where the first one, Mr. Charles, which is the main character, the thing is, he's basically giving a look off screen, kind of like the first shot that he's in the beginning of or should I say the opening of the film, and and then he like twirls his gun, so it makes you think like maybe he shot someone already, and he's like looking down on them with like kind of like a smile, and then he looks away more towards the camera, almost, and or towards the viewer, and basically, he reloads it or something, he kind of and then puts it back in his jacket. So I decided, because that's not in the script and it doesn't add anything to the story, it's not needed or necessary, I took that out, as well as the scene that followed it, which was there's this archway that was downtown, in the middle of the square, and they did this for the holiday setup. So anyways, I decided, it was nice to get that shot and everything. It looked great. And so that's what's going to be in the extended cut. I may have that or keep that to where there's an extended cut of the film, or a version where it does add all the extra bits. But honestly, I may not do that. I may just keep them on the cutting room floor. I may keep those deleted scenes as they are, not in the picture. And, if you want to look up the special features and see, what got cut from the film, what got deleted, you can see those scenes, in the, on your own time. when that gets released. So, but yeah, so I did that recently. I edited those scenes out, those two, and so now there's those 3 scenes that have been deleted, and yeah, I don't plan on putting them back in the film because they're not really important to the film. But now the film as it is, without those scenes, it's just as it's meant to be. It shows exactly everything that is written in the story. Even everything that was added recently for to add more to the story, because I did not too long ago write a second draft, and since then I've revised it a bit. I've changed a little bit of the writing and made a couple notes, but so that way I'm more prepared when it comes time to filming these scenes, that I know for continuity's sake, and also for the story as well. So, I mean, that put aside, I mean, now really, like I said, it's as it's meant to be seen. You get to watch the film and see it as it's intended to for the moment. But I do want to talk about just very briefly, and this is something I'm looking forward to in the coming weeks, is the fact that that is going to be the next step into the filmmaking process, or should I say at least one of the next first steps, getting back into production and into the picture and making it back into filming, is the fact that I've been in talks with a woman to play the role of Lori, the love interest for Mr. Charles, that he leaves behind. And yeah, so I mean it's the end of a love story is what it is, and it's also, the whole story really is about, except for the flashbacks sequence, is about the last day of this person's life, the hitman, Mr. Charles. And so, I mean, he was planning to get out of this city and move on again. He should have done it sooner, but he didn't. And yeah, even if he did, honestly, they probably still would have, went after him and, trailed him or chased him wherever he went. And that's the thing, is he was being followed. So, yeah, it would be nice to actually get the first scene in, for her character, which I'm planning to do the last scene, for a certain reason, and I'll get to that next time we speak about it and once it's done. But yeah, all in good time, and good time for all things, ladies and gentlemen. I know that God's got my back. As I said, there's someone that's willing to play the part, but once we get started, then we have more to talk about. Until then, the film has been put on hold until the next month. So, I think, all in good time, which is, I have to focus on a lot of other things as well. So, but yeah, I think it's just a blessing to already have someone that is willing to do the part. And anyhow, so yeah, definitely looking forward to that, to filming with her and getting that first scene done, and then going on from there and doing the forest scene. And speaking of that, so that was the main topic, or the main thing that I wanted to speak to you folks about today, is the fact that I did do some acting, about a few weeks back, and it was for that forest scene where he's talking to her and basically, kind of breaking up with her. It's essentially what it is. That's the scene in the present moment. Once you get to that scene, that's exactly what it is. Is they're no longer gonna be together, and but he's doing it for her good, and he knows he can't waste any more time on her, but he doesn't see any other way to keep her safe. He knows it's very risky to rely on this one thing, this device, which is actually an elixir. The alternate title of the film actually, and what it does is erase your memory for the previous year or so, and so it would erase the memory of their time that they spent together. And so as much as he is tempted, and you do get to see this in the film, you see a shot where he's looking at the vial of the drink, and you could tell in his eyes he's basically thinking about drinking it himself. And he knows this, I've said this before, but he knows it's not for him. And so he that's the thing about Mr. Charles. His character is for the most part, he's a very disciplined character, I wanted to add a lot to the picture to show more about his character and how he is, the things that he does to try and, I guess, repent for his sins of being a, assassin, but or a hitman, essentially. But that may not go into the picture. I may add just one, maybe one little snippet or one little scene, add that into the flashback. But yeah. So on to that scene. Yeah, I got up one day and there was something in me that told me, let me go work on my picture today, and so I did. That I almost told myself, hey, I could put it off to another day, but thankfully I didn't, and because of the fact that I went out and actually chased my dreams and my goals that day, to get this little piece of the scene done, it turned out to be one of the best little pieces of the scene that I've done so far, for the entire scene, and even for the entire film, just in that in that little moment. So what I did that day, I knew there was a day where, previously in the year, about a month or two back, where I saw this piece in a antique store, and they sell all kinds of jewelry and everything like that, and they had this very beautiful golden piece with like these small diamonds inside them, and it's a heart pendant, that I thought it was a necklace, but it's made in the film to be a necklace, of course. So I ended up going back to that store, before ever doing the scene that day, because I knew I needed it for the scene. I wanted to do the shot of him, putting the necklace, that she wears in his taking it from her, taking it off her neck, saying you won't be needing this anymore, and and something that was supposed to mean something that he gave her, symbolizing their love or their connection, their time together, and it's just one of the best moments of the film so far, where he takes it from her, and he and he puts it in his pocket. So and hopefully later in the film, as I wrote in, when It'll reappear again. That's all I'll say about that. It'll reappear one more time in the film. So, and when you see it the second time, it's gonna hurt quite a bit. But anyway, seriously, for any of the viewers, absolutely. But that's the whole point of writing that in and filming it and putting it together and making that a part of the story in the film. Because when I added that in, I thought, well, that's one of the most important shots of the film, and had I not added that in, it wouldn't add extra weight to the story, which it does. But so I'm very glad that I did. I'm glad that day when I wrote all that extra stuff into the picture. It wasn't a whole lot, but what I did adds more to the characters and the story that they're a part of, that they're in. But yeah, so like I said, I returned to this antique store. And I went looking for this same piece, guys, and it was still there. Thankfully, it was still there. I went looking for it. I said, is it in this case? And I had to keep looking a little bit further, and it was in the same place. And the very same, jewelry piece that I was looking for my film. So, or should I say for her character in the film. And so I was very happy, to see it there, and the fact that it didn't even cost a lot for the piece itself. What did cost more than the pendant itself was actually the necklace. The chain cost more than the necklace, and sometimes that does happen where it'll go that way. And you're like, wow, I can't believe that I spent more on that than the piece itself. But that has to do with the way they're pricing things. So the piece was actually like $5, but the chain it was like $5 or $10, and then the chain was the rest of the amount. Made it $35, and I was like, well, it's for the picture. So yeah. So now I did. She wrapped it, the woman in the store, she wrapped the piece, and I was hoping that they wouldn't, spend the extra time wrapping it, but everything turned out that day the way it was meant to and the way it was supposed to. I got that piece that and I went straight from their little shop, their store, to the location of the park where it's located, to shoot the forest scene, and to do those two shots. And it was like I said, it was meant to be done that day, and the way that it was done, I set up the camera and did the first scene with the with the chain and the necklace, and I say the line and do the action and the movement of the hands where he's basically taking it from her and puts it in his pocket. But I think I did like 2 takes of it, and I don't know. I think it was the first take, and that's the one that I ended up using, which is, as you see in the film. And the reason I used that take is because of the fact that the chain, and it's a very long chain, by the way, that I bought. We're gonna have to see if it fits correctly or not, or if we'll have to adjust the size or the length of the chain. But like I said, that chain being very very long in length, it actually got caught on the button on the jacket, So the fact that it gets caught on the button and then it has to be, taken, unhooked essentially, and before it gets put in the pocket, I think it was, out of the two takes that I did, that was definitely the more it's not just the more memorable one, but it's definitely the more entertaining one because that happens, because it gets caught. And that's, like I said, that's the reason why I kept that take. Is because it gets caught on the jacket before he puts it in the pocket. But so yeah, that turned out really well. That was the main reason why I bought that piece. And also, of course, so that she can wear it. But now you have the scene where he's taking it from her and putting it away, and putting it in his jacket pocket. So that was the first piece, or the first shot that day. And the second one that I did, actually, it's the same scene. And it was a reshoot of the shot where he says one of the main dialogue lines when he's wrapping up his speech, or his talk with her, and convincing her, basically to take this drink, and that it's gonna make everything better for him and her, because of the fact that they know what they've been through for the last several months or so, and so the only reason she does drink is she knows that they've been chased and all that, and it's dangerous for her to be with him. And even though she does tell him, like, she knows, she doesn't care. She kind of wants to keep fighting, or he says we can't keep running, all that stuff. So that's all still yet to be filmed. But I did do this one quick little monologue where he, I got it down before, but there was some noise in the background. And the take wasn't, the original take wasn't as good. I had actually dubbed over my voice to try and redo the audio, because of all the noise in the background that day, in that shot. So, I just decided, let me redo that, and I did the entire, line of dialogue instead of just one piece of it. So it was nice to just get that whole line out and say, hey, I memorized it. So that's the first real speech, dialogue scene where I've had to memorize, more than one or two lines. And it turned out beautifully. Like I said, it was it's definitely the best acting I've done in the film, I think, for any talking scene, which is, that scene alone. But all the acting that I've done for the film so far, in a way, up until that scene, what you can see of the film so far, of the picture, is, it's almost like a silent film, and that's what's so great about it, is it's a lot of pantomime. You can see it's just a lot of action and movements, and what a person is doing, but you in their action, in the way that they move, and the way that they do what they're doing, you can almost feel their emotion based on how they carry themselves, and the way they walk and all that. How do they move with confidence? Do they look like they feel like they're weighed down a bit because they've been going through a lot. So you can kind of see that when you're watching the opening of the film. You can definitely notice and see that he's Mr. Charles, he's going through something. He's feeling something, like there's something missing, and you can see that by him walking by himself in the beginning of the film, and you don't understand, but you see, like, hey, there's a part of this character, until you realize that he's actually with someone. Until that moment comes, you're like, wow, that something is missing here, and you can feel it by that opening, like I said, where he's just walking through the city to catch his train. Um, but yeah, so I had a lot of fun doing the scene and filming that day. I love acting. I love getting into the character. And I definitely love portraying what he's doing for each scene. It's like, for that scene especially, he's taking away something that he gave her, and that he was supposed to let her keep, and for the sake of her memories and their time that they spent together, and just to erase all that, he takes it back, and it's a very beautiful moment that I added into the writing of this second draft, that adds more to the scene, and to what he's trying to do. He's taking away her memory of the two of them, and so it had to be added in where he takes the necklace from her as well. So that scene is done now. Or at least that little shot where he puts it in his pocket is done, and then, so, as well as the shot where he says, his famous line to her that it's time to become who you were meant to be, and he gives her like this look of like it has to be this way, and so he knows what has to be done, and she he's telling her until she's able to accept it, and until she takes the drink, and so he, in the scene, yes, he's very patient with her, and the way that he deals, and the way he talks to her. But that scene itself, when it's finally all put together, will be even more beautiful than it is, with the with the with the absolute, start to finish, and just the whole film in general put together. But so it may take another year or so to finish the picture. It may take one or two. But for what we have so far, ladies and gentlemen, it's very fun to watch. It's very entertaining, and you can already see the story and where it's going. In a way, you can see what there is for the story, and kind of get a sense of what's going on. So I'll be very happy to get back into it, get back to filming, and to do more of this, and to add more to the picture, to edit that in, and for you guys. So anyways, we'll be talking very briefly, or should I say very shortly, sometime in the future. So definitely look out for some new material. And you guys have a safe week. All right? And we'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.